Listen, guys, like since I was a kid, I mean, of course, the Toonami days, right? The early or the late '90s, the early 2000s, but really the late '90s. I was all about that Toonami, watching it, going back to school, and talking to friends about. Did you see that episode of Dragon Ball Z? Now, everybody was on the Dragon Ball Z craze, and I was too. You know, I love Dragon Ball Z, but there was a show that absolutely captured my heart that I loved more than Dragon Ball Z that I would record on my VCR slash TV. And that was Tenchi Muyo, man. I absolutely, this is hands down, when the day I die, Tenchi Muyo, the first OVA, the second OVA, I would even say Tenchi in Tokyo, I actually really like too. Just the humor side of it. And then them having Kiyone, you know, and then you had all the spin-offs after that, Tenchi GXP, Tenchi War and Geminar. You had more OVA seasons of the first OVA one with the Tenchi series. You had movies. I remember going to Sam Goody. That's right, we did have a Sam Goody, and picking up Tenchi in Love 3. I love Tenchi. Tenchi has been a part of my life throughout. I even went to my first anime convention. I met all the voice actresses I met most of the voice actresses of Tenchi Muyo. I've only wanted to meet one person that I absolutely adored, and that was the English dub of Ryoko, and that was I think I might butcher her name, but it's Patria Burchard, and she was a doll. She was awesome. She kind of reminded me of Carol from The Walking Dead, the look of her. She was a sweetheart. All the girls were sweethearts. I am absolutely ecstatic because I didn't know. So a recent episode, and I think it was like the season finale, it's called The Max Level A Hero Departs, and I believe this is the season finale. I watched the episode. I try to watch the more of the OVA seasons, you know, Tenchi GXP. I love Tenchi War and Geminar. I thought that was a good one, but it just really beat me down, man. There was never it wasn't focused on Tenchi, Ryoko, Ayeka, Washu, Sasami anymore. It was focused on a lot of these other characters they introduced, and I thought it was just a mess. And I've seen the doujinshis. I've seen a lot of the other, you know, what kind of happens with the Masaki family and Tenchi himself, him marrying all the girls. But it wasn't, to me, that wasn't canon. It had to be canon in the anime series. You had to make that official. I thought I would never get it. We had that one show, i.e. Tenchi Muyo. It was a special. Like, I just, you know, Ryoko looked great. I hated the fact that Patria wasn't back as voicing on the dub. No disrespect to the sub. The sub's pretty good too, but I love the dub. And like, I just never thought I would get it. I thought, you know, I was a huge Tenchi and Ryoko shipper. I love Tenchi and Ryoko. I actually, you know, I like all the girls. Ayeka, you know, it's Ayeka. Either you like Ryoko or Ayeka, but I could still, you know, come to like Ayeka. I love Kiyone. In the OVA 1, she's not a character, which is a damn shame because she is definitely the best character that they made compared to a lot of the characters they bring in. But it was all about Tenchi and Ryoko. It was all about that connection. It was all about, you know, the space pirate Ryoko, reckless, just really kind of the bachelorette, so to speak. You know, she's just like that frat girl. And Tenchi was always calm, more mature for his age, learned from his grandpa, the Jirai royal family. It was a crazy but interesting story. But for me, the connection was always Ryoko and Tenchi. But not only that, but you loved all the girls too. You loved the feeling of, you felt like you were in their home. You were having some of Sasami's cooking. You felt like the villains, even though they weren't properly developed or wasn't menacing or memorable, they were there. You know, there was a lot of missions they had to do. Tenchi Universe was one of my favorite series out of all of them. I love this series. I have a passion for this series. I'm in my 30s now, my early 30s, and I still hold such a special place in my heart for Tenchi Muyo, the series. I did not expect this. I saw one episode where Tenchi had to make a decision, and his decision, and I was going to cover it on a video, and I'm covering on this video now. He had to make a decision, right? He's the head of the household. He's Jirai royal blood. But he makes a decision in this episode. I forgot what episode was it, but it was a setup to things to come. And I still can't believe it. 2021 has been a crazy year already. And I just would have never thought in my early 30s that this would happen. So he makes a decision. He has to go to like the high council, so to speak. All these people that we introduced throughout the Tenchi Muyo OVA 1 series. And he goes to the Jirai royal family and he says, I'm going to marry everybody. I'm going to marry Ryoko. I'm going to marry Ayeka. I'm going to marry Mahoshi. The new girl that came in, I forget her name. I'm going to marry Ryo-Ohki. I'm going to marry Sasami. Like you can, if you're a Jirai royal member, you could actually, they believe in taking multiple wives, and he absolutely could do that. And to me, the ending of Tenchi Muyo, like either you get Ryoko as the girl to be the one for Tenchi, but I would be honestly okay with him marrying Ayeka as well, or marrying Mahoshi. If Kiyone was in the series, I would have loved him to marry Kiyone. Like I okay with that. It's an anime. It's crazy stuff. You know, they love that happens most of the time, where, you know, all the girls fall in love with one guy. And how do you settle this? You just marry all of them, basically. It's a little weird with Sasami, I'll be honest with you, but I'll get to that in a minute. So he agrees to marry all of them. They're all one big family. They say it in the episode, we're one family. We don't want to separate. Like, I love that because they are. If you watch this series, this was the first series that I got into where a guy gets all the girls or all the girls fall in love with him. But you kind of understood it. You know, he's a normal human being, but he has potential. He has powers. He's kind. I think the kindness of Tenchi Muyo is what brought Ryoko down to earth, honestly. So even though I just wanted Ryoko to be with Tenchi, that wasn't the case. He is married to everybody that's in his household that that is in love with him, and Ryoko's one of them. So I'm happy that we went a common ground. So you could be a fan with Ayeka, you could be a fan of Mahoshi, and they're married. They're his wife. I still think that he has a little bit more of a special bond with Ryoko. And I think a lot of the fans know this, and I think the creator knows this. I think Ryoko, and if you watch Tenchi Muyo and Love 3, you just understand that, especially Tenchi Universe. Like, you just understand that. Tenchi in Tokyo, Ryoko's like the only one that goes on an actual date with Tenchi that we've seen. I think in the manga or whatever, Ayeka's able to. So I saw that episode, and I was like, I got to make a video on this, but I never got to it. I was like, well, technically they're all married, but I'm happy with it. It kind of leaves me still a little bit like, I like that, but then I would love more to it. And I saw that episode on YouTube, so I didn't know that Crunchyroll was putting out these episodes. Tenchi did marry everybody, but not only that, Ryoko and Tenchi have a child. Ryoko and Tenchi have a child. And not only Ryoko and Tenchi and Ayeka. And not only Tenchi and Ayeka, watching the episode, I believe Tenchi and Ryo-Ohki have a kid. It seemed that way. You have Kenshi in there. Kenshi is one of the main protagonists of War on Geninar. There's a mystery of how he got there. This episode focuses how he gets there, which I was really surprised. I was like, I really like War on Geninar. I'm like, oh, okay. Washu's prominent. Love me, little Washu. But the fact is, the first girl out of all the group to be pregnant and to have a child is Ryoko. Ryoko and Tenchi, her daughter's the first one to be in this world. And it's absolutely adorable. And it's more adorable because Ayeka has a daughter as well, and they're playing together. And Kenshi is so a part of the family too, and then you see him interacting with the children, and it's not like just one little glimpse. Like, you see the evolution. You see Ryoko pregnant. You see her training with Kenchi. You see Ryoko still being Ryoko, but like more wifely, more motherly, more down to earth. But they're all one big family. And I'm just absolutely happy, man. I'm just like, this made my month. This made my month, man. You don't understand how much I love this series. And to have that conclusion, this is as good as when I was rooting for Naruto Hinata. Those were the two I wanted together the most. That's probably my number one anime couple. But right there next to it is Tenchi and Ryoko. It was a non-fulfilled closure for the longest time. And I honestly believed that was it. I didn't think Tenchi was that popular a series to have that closure. But man, this gave me closure. One of my favorites, tied to my favorites anime couples of all time. All these years later, since I was a kid, now in my early 30s, I got it. I got this closure of Tenchi and Ryoko, and I freaking love it, man. I love it. I'm looking at the episode. I'm looking at the episode thumbnail. It's Ryoko and Tenchi in such at peace. The thumbnail alone is just absolutely gorgeous. It's just Ryoko closing her eyes. Well, not closing her eyes. Looking down. Tenchi closing his eyes. But they're both together. It's close up to their face. Like, I got it, guys. I mean, anybody who was a ship for this couple, we did it. We didn't do it, but it's so magical, and I appreciate everything because I love movies, I love TV, I love anime, and to get a closure like this for so many years, it's just amazing. And honestly, anything after is just a bonus. But I got it. I watched this episode and I saw the interaction, Tenchi with their baby, and then seeing Ayeka, and then seeing them shipping off Kenchi and the emotional moment that was. Still think the series as a whole is just never going to meet the standards of the original Tenchi Muyo series. But the way they dealt with the kids, Tenchi, the girls, Tenchi and Ryoko, superb. So I just want to speak on the closure of that. We finally got Tenchi and Ryoko happened. But not only that, Tenchi and Ayeka happened. Tenchi Mahoshi. It's beautiful, man. It's absolutely beautiful. I love it. I just love having that closure. So let me know, guys. Are you a fan of Tenchi Muyo? Did you want Ayeka, Ryoko? How do you feel about the ending? How do you feel about the closure? Do you like that everybody's married to Tenchi, that Tenchi had kids? What do you feel? What are you feeling? And honestly, in this episode, Tenchi actually got more mature. He's really like his grandpa now, which I found really awesome because I really like Tenchi as a character as well. And he just really feels like he's reached that potential and he can go even further. So let me know what you guys thought. Love seeing, the girls back at it. Them being a little kind of focused in this episode in the closure moment. So anything after this, I probably won't follow. I'll probably follow, but I won't watch the series. I just think that it's just it's not as good as the originals, but I do appreciate the fact that they were able to give us some closure to the fans, and absolutely awesome, ecstatic, thrilled. I'll probably make maybe one more video of Ryoko and Tenchi, and maybe a tribute video because I love this couple so much. So thank you guys. I'm Dan Domenic, Daniel's son. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Would really appreciate that. Click the subscribe button. Join the team. Like the video if you like it, and then hit the bell icon because there's way more videos coming your way, and I have way more anime videos on the channel so you guys can check out. So thank you guys. Awesome. We did it. They did it. Tenchi and Ryoko, official, but also Tenchi and all the other girls. Love it. All right, guys. Bye-bye.